Hi everybody. Today we're going to be looking at the daily reflection feature. To get started with this feature, click on the check-in button right over here. So here it's asking, how did you feel today? Grateful. Here it's asking, how difficult were your urges today? Regardless of whether you gave into the urge or not, it's good to know how difficult your urges are, and this way you can see over time whether your urges are becoming less frequent or not. So let's say I'll choose 7. And then it asks me, do I want to report a setback? Now, depending on what I choose over here, there's going to be different questions on the next step. So in this case, I will choose setback. I go to next. It's asking me what happened. Choose all that apply, which means if I watched porn and also masturbated, I'm going to choose both options. If I only did one of them, I'll choose only that one. The reason this matters is also because, as you'll see later, when you're looking at the trends over time, you might want to see which behaviors are still a problem for you. In this case, I'll choose both of them. When did it happen? Evening. How intense was the setback? How would you rate the setback from 1 to 10? You can't compare if someone watched porn for 2 minutes and then right away left the website to someone who's been watching for hours. And it's also good for you to know over time not to treat every single setback exactly the same. This also helps psychologically. If you had a small setback, you can say to yourself, okay, this was only a very small setback. I'm going to stop right now, as opposed to saying, I already watched porn for 2 minutes, so it doesn't matter what I'm going to do for the rest of the day because the day is messed up anyway. There's no rules how to rank it. Just imagine like the smallest possible setback is a 1 and the biggest one is a 10. Next. Now here you have a question, which is what might have led to the urge and setback. So in this case, there was a big urge and also a setback, a small setback. And it's good to write down as close as possible to when it actually happened to get some details about what happened. And this way you can look at the records later on. I'll show you soon how to see them. And you can see whether the same situations constantly cause you to have urges and setbacks. And it helps you get deeper insight about your triggers or your cues, as we call them in the Flight to Freedom, so that you can try to think of ways to minimize them in the future. If in the previous step you would write that you had a victory, we'd change the name of the question to what might have led to the urge. The idea is that even when you have a victory, sometimes it's a close call. And if you try to think about what might have led to the urge, you might be able to prevent setbacks in the future. Finally, here's a space to add additional notes where you can record anything about this entry that you want to remember for the future. Okay, now I want to show you some other features of the daily reflection tool and how to get the most benefit out of it. So as you keep the daily reflection up to date, you can see graphs and trends on the My Progress page. Scroll down a bit to see the Your Progress area, and here it's going to show you a snapshot of the past 30 days. I can see I had one setback, 97% success rate. I can also see that I had a lot of urges towards the end of this period of time. So you see in the beginning of the 30 days, it was quite flat, and then it started going up. Now, it could be that it's flat because I didn't update the chart often enough, and that would be a problem, of course. But assuming everything is accurate over here, this would be very interesting because I'd want to study to find out why did the urges go up suddenly, during this frame of time. If I want to get a bigger picture, I can go to the last 90 days. So here I see how in the beginning of the 90 days, the setbacks were bigger. This one's a 9 out of 10. This one is an 8 out of 10. And then afterwards, it started getting weaker. Even though the urges didn't change that much, there was a strong urge over here, but my setback was only a 2 out of 10. Here was a 3 out of 10. So overall, the intensity of the setbacks is improving a lot. And if I want to get the real big picture, I can go to the last 6 months. If you look at the big picture of the 6 months, you could often see big changes. So here you can see how, yes, the intensity of the setback has been going down. Because in the past I had here an 8 and I had a 7 and a 9. And also you can see how the intensity of the urges is going down over time, which is also a good sign. If I want to see some more detail, I can click on the gear icon over here and change my preferences to show each problematic sexual behavior separately. In this case, it's going to show me different colors for different types of setbacks. So masturbation will be blue, porn will be green, and if it's something else, it will be orange. And now if I go back to the past 90 days, I can see that the past couple of setbacks were masturbation. Previously, there was also porn involved, porn and something else. So over time, things have been definitely changing a bit, and it's because I got a filter on my phone and porn is no longer happening, which is a good sign as well. Now, if I want to investigate what happened over here in the past couple of days, a good place to do that would be in the journal history. To access that, click on the View All link over here. And now I can go back to previous couple of days and see what's going on. See, here I see this is the date when I had the setback, and have some good notes over here that explain what happened. It was related to some deadline I was having, and I was very stressed. I was trying to calm down a bit. I didn't feel like using my plan. If I go back a little earlier, here I had a strong urge the day before, also because of stress at work. I'm late for the big deadline, I can't take it. If I go back a little earlier, I see that over here also I had an urge, 3 out of 10. I'm late for a deadline, lots of stress. So it seems like all that stress at work was the reason I was having these urges, and that's why I also had the setback. As I analyze this information, I can learn some lessons from it. For example, that I need to spend time to learn healthier ways of calming down. If you see anything that's wrong over here, you can click the pencil icon to edit the information. Another place to make edits is over here. You can pick any dates and then click the pencil icon to make edits. And finally, if you're editing something in the past 7 days, there's easy shortcuts to edit it. Click by clicking on this arrow over here and then clicking Edit Info. On the home page, you have an area here for the main stats. You can see your current clean streak, your total clean streak, and also your 30-day success rate. So until now, Guard Your Eyes, we've mainly been looking at how many days you've been clean for. Now we're also emphasizing the success rate in the past 30 days. We also have something called a clean score, which is a special algorithm that calculates how well you're doing. It's a little different than the success rate. The success rate is simply a percentage of the past 30 days, for example. How many setbacks did you have in the past 30 days? To the success rate, it doesn't matter whether the setback happened 29 days ago or whether it happened yesterday. The clean score, on the other hand, is more sensitive to when the setback happened. So if you have, if the setback happened in the beginning of the month and now you had 3 solid weeks, the clean score is going to be very high. On the other hand, if the setback just happened this week, like in this case, it's showing that it happened a few days ago, so the clean score is going to be quite affected by it. The further back the setback was, the higher the clean score is going to be. Okay, finally, I'm going to show you how to do updates to a lot of missing days in a very easy way. Like in this account over here, you see we're missing pretty much all the info from when the account was started. It's all listed as unknown dates. Instead of the scores, you'll see these little warning signs which remind you that we can't calculate those scores because there's so much info that is missing. So to update all those missing days, just click on Add Info, and then it will show you 1 month at a time. So in this case, it's showing me November. I'll say no setbacks in November. In December, let's say I had a setback on this date. So I'll click on it and say porn and masturbation. Okay. And otherwise, all the other days are clean. No setbacks in December. So now it's showing me a confirmation that I'm updating. Out of these 18 missing days, 17 are victories and 1 is a setback. Confirm. And now when I finish, my scores are going to get updated, the calendar is updated, and we're ready to roll. Now, of course, this is a shortcut and we're missing some of the info. For example, how strong the urges were during each day. So if we go to the graphs, it's going to be pretty flat. There isn't much to show here except for the setback information. So for example, let's say I remember that on last Thursday I had very strong urges. So I can go to here, I'll choose last Thursday, and I will edit the information. I don't remember how I felt, but okay. How difficult were your urges? Ooh, they were very strong. It was an 8. So now the bar here that's showing me the level of urges went up for Thursday, and I can get more of a picture of how the week was like. Of course, the more often you use the daily reflection, the more accurate info we'll have to show over here, and the more you'll be able to see about your trends and how you're doing.